In the late 1990s, police in New Mexico uncovered a case so disturbing that many investigators still refuse to talk about it publicly in detail. At the center of the investigation was a man named David Parker Ray, later known as the Toy Box Killer. Unlike many serial killers, there was almost no physical evidence connecting him directly to multiple murders. No confirmed bodies. No massive crime scenes. But what authorities discovered inside a trailer hidden in the desert terrified even experienced detectives. The trailer was filled with restraints, torture devices, chains, and disturbing recordings. According to investigators, the location appeared designed specifically to psychologically and physically terrorize victims. And the deeper police looked into the case, the darker the story became. One of the most horrifying details of the case involved an audio tape allegedly played to victims after they were kidnapped. According to investigators, David Parker Ray calmly explained what would happen to them inside what he called his toy box. The recording described torture, control, and psychological abuse in chilling detail. Detectives later stated that listening to the tape was deeply disturbing even for trained investigators. Several women who survived described being drugged, restrained, and manipulated for long periods of time before eventually being released with fragmented memories. Because many victims struggled to remember details clearly, investigators faced enormous difficulty reconstructing exactly how many crimes may have occurred. And that uncertainty would become one of the most terrifying parts of the entire case. For years, authorities believed David Parker Ray may have operated without being caught because several victims either disappeared completely or survived without fully understanding what had happened to them. But eventually, one woman managed to escape and contact police, triggering the investigation that exposed the trailer in the desert. Her testimony revealed horrifying allegations involving kidnapping, torture, and psychological manipulation. Investigators soon discovered that Ray may not have acted alone. Several people connected to him were accused of helping lure victims or participate in crimes connected to the case. As media coverage exploded across the United States, the public became obsessed with the terrifying mystery surrounding the so-called Toy Box Killer. But despite the disturbing evidence discovered by police, major questions still remained unanswered. One of the biggest mysteries surrounding David Parker Ray is the complete absence of confirmed murder victims directly tied to him through physical evidence. Investigators suspected the number of victims could be extremely high, but without bodies or forensic proof, many cases could never be officially solved. Some detectives believed victims may have been disposed of in remote desert areas across New Mexico. Others suspected there were crimes nobody had ever reported. The lack of definitive answers transformed the case into one of the most disturbing mysteries in American true crime history. Even today, internet forums and documentaries continue debating how many victims may truly have existed. And for many people, the uncertainty itself is what makes the story so terrifying. Before investigators could fully uncover the extent of the crimes, David Parker Ray died in prison in 2002 from a heart attack. His death permanently closed the possibility of learning the complete truth directly from him. Many families and investigators were left without answers. Authorities never managed to conclusively determine how many people may have disappeared because of the case. The lack of closure created frustration and fear that still surrounds the investigation today. Unlike many famous serial killer cases, there was never a final confession that explained everything. Instead, the story ended with uncertainty, fragmented testimonies, and disturbing evidence that hinted at crimes potentially far larger than anyone could prove. Today, the case of David Parker Ray remains one of the most psychologically disturbing stories in modern true crime. The so-called toy box became infamous not because of what was fully proven, but because of what investigators feared might have happened there. Experts often point to the case as an example of extreme manipulation, control, and sadistic behavior hidden behind an ordinary appearance. And unlike many criminals who seek public attention, Ray lived much of his life without attracting major suspicion. Perhaps that is what continues to terrify people the most. The idea that unimaginable violence could exist quietly, hidden in an isolated trailer in the desert, while the outside world remained completely unaware.